Hey, first graders, I have been telling you a little bit about related facts, and we kind of were learning about how we can use addition to help us with subtraction because they're using the same numbers. We're going to look at that some more today. But before we do that, I want to show you a couple pictures, okay? And I'm going to just talk about these pictures for a minute. So here's the first picture, okay? Now, this is my brother. This is Jackson, okay? And I'm just going to put a J down here for Jackson. And this is his wife, Emily. So we have Jackson and Emily. Now, we've talked about how the plus sign can be used for and, or the word and helps us know we can use the plus sign. So I have Jackson and Emily. And together, they make the Turner family, okay? So they make their own little family, just the two of them. Jackson plus Emily equals the Turners. But we can also have them sit in a different order. We have Emily and Jackson, and guess what? They switched places, but they are still the Turners. It doesn't matter which order they sit in, right? They still make up the Turner family. Well, Emily is a nurse, and so sometimes she has to go to work. So they might both be at their own little house. They have their own little place, and they might both be there. But then sometimes, so they have the Turners there. Hold on a second. Okay, so we might have the Turners at their own little house, and I'm going to put a little house here. This is the Turner house. And sometimes Emily has to go to work. And when Emily goes to work, Jackson is left by himself, right? And, Jackson is still in college. So sometimes they're at their own little house. And Jackson goes to school. And when Jackson goes to school, Emily might still be at their house. Okay? It doesn't change the fact that they are part of the Turner family, or that when they come together, they are the Turners. Okay? So why would I talk about this? Well, I was using those plus and equals and minus symbols as I was talking to you. So let's look at it in a slightly different way, okay? So let's come here and look at what I was doing, okay? So I told you that I had them living in a little house, which is true, and that it was the Turner house. So I'm going to put my T up here, okay? And in that Turner house, we had Jackson, so put a J for Jackson, and Emily. And when Jackson and Emily were together, we could call them the Turners. And it didn't matter if we were looking at Jackson and then Emily, or if we started by looking at Emily and then Jackson. Together, they are still the Turners. And then we talked about how sometimes they have to leave their house. So if the Turners are at their home and Emily goes away to work, Jackson could still be at the house. And if the Turners are at their home and Jackson goes to school, then Emily might still be at the house. What did I just do? I used Jackson, Emily, and that together they're the Turners to write addition sentences and subtraction sentences. We are going to do the same thing today with fact families. Okay, just like Jackson and Emily make up a family, there are certain numbers that make up families as well, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. Okay, so for example, there might be a house that has the number 4 living there and the number 5 living there. Okay, and 4 and 5 come together and make what? They make 9. And we can add in any order. Okay, so just like we could look at Jackson first, or we could look at Emily first, we can look at our 4 first, or we could look at our 5 first. So let's look at our 5 first now. 5 and 4, we still make 9. So we could say this 4 and 5 are part of the 9 family. Okay, so if we have the 9 family all at home together, and maybe 5 goes to the store, 4 will stay at home. And maybe we have the 9 family together and 4 goes to work. Well, that would leave 5 at home. Okay, do you see that? We used what we know about numbers to show 2 addition sentences and 2 subtraction sentences, but we only used these 3 numbers. Okay, let's look at that with a model. If I have a group of 4 and I add 5, then together I have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I can take that stick I just made and flip it over. Now I see 5 first and then 4, but the stick itself didn't change. It's still 9. So if I have this stick with 9 connecting cubes, I might take away 5 of them. So here comes 5. And what is left here at the house? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Or I might have these 9 cubes all at home, and the 4 might go away. And what gets left? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if numbers are together in the same family, then they are going to be able to create 2 addition sentences and 2 subtraction sentences with the numbers in that family. So let's look at some others. Okay, let's look if we had the family made up of 6 and 2. Okay, so if 6 and 2 are the members of this family, then what family are they part of? 6 and 2 come together and they would make a family of 8, right? Okay, so let's see what number sentences this family can make. Well, we can start with what we have. 6 plus 2 make the family of 8. But we know we can add in any order, so I can take my 6 and my 2 and I can switch the add-ins and it does not change the sum. Okay, so instead of 6 plus 2, I could do 2 plus 6. And that would also equal 8. Okay. Let's look at how we could take this family apart. So if this family, the 8 family, were all at home, and one of them needs to go somewhere, who should we have go away? Let's just have the 6 go. Okay, so if the 6 goes somewhere, then who's left over? The 2, right. And if we have the whole family at home and the 2 goes somewhere, then who's left? The 6. Okay, so we can do this with any of our numbers. So what we're going to be looking at today is you're going to see different number sentences, and you might have some numbers missing. So let's look at one. Let's look at if I have 10 plus blank equals 14, and we'll have 14 minus 10 equals blank. Okay, what's my missing part? Think about what 14 means. Okay, 14 means a group of 10 and 4 more, right? Okay, so we have our group of 10 right here. So what's our missing number? 4 more. Okay, so if we have 10 plus 4 equals 14, then when the family is all at home and 10 goes to visit someone, who's going to be left alone? The 4. Okay, can we add in any order? Yes. 4 plus 10 still makes 14. What would be our other subtraction sentence? Okay, when we subtract, what do we start with? We start with the whole. Okay, so we know the whole family together is the 14 family. So we're going to put 14 as my whole. Now, 10 already went to run an errand. So who do we need to let have a turn to run an errand now? The 4, that's right. Okay, so if we have 14 and the 4 goes to run an errand, who's going to be left? The 10. Okay, so we could look at this and we can think, hey, I'm going to just draw their house or just the roof of their house and think, this is the 14 family because I have a 10 and a 4 that come together. So they're going to make the 14 family. Okay, let's try another one. Let's see. Okay, 13 minus something equals 8. 8 plus something equals 13. 13 minus 8 equals blank. And then what would our final addition sentence be? Okay, so you can look at these and think which one works best with your brain. Okay, so if I'm going to do 13 minus something equals 8, I'm at 13 and I want to get down to 8. Well, since I know 13 means a group of 10 and 3 more, I can take away 3 to get down to 10. And then I would still need to take away another 2 to get down to 8. So how many did I take away altogether? I took away 5. Okay, so 13 minus 5 equals 8. Well, can I turn that around into an addition problem? Does 8 plus 5 equal 13? I would put 2 more to make it a 10, and then 3 more to make it 13. So yes. Okay, so you can see 2 and 3. I broke my 5 apart. Okay, so we know that parts can switch places. So I have my part 5 that got taken away here to make 8. So if I take away my 8, I'll be left with the part 5. If I have 8 plus 5 to make 13, what's the other way I can make 13 using these numbers? We can add in any order. To switch the atoms does not change the sum. So I have 8 plus 5. I can switch that. 5 plus 8 equals 13. Okay? Okay, let's do another one with cubes. I'm going to show you a picture and we're going to see, well, a model, and we're going to see how that model shows 4 different equations. Okay? What do we see here? What do you see from this model? I see 4 plus 7, and all together it's 11. What happens if I flip it? I see 7 plus 4, but did my whole change? No, it's still 11. Okay, can we see subtraction from this? If I know my whole is 11, but I remove the yellows, if I say I have 11 cubes and 4 of them are yellow, how many does that leave to be red? 7. I have 11 cubes and 7 of them are red. The rest are yellow. How many are yellow? 4. Okay. So there you go. I hope that helps with your fact families. We will keep practicing these, but good luck with today's work. Happy learning!